Initiating moisture.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Moisties. Ryan Seacrest wasn't available to host, so I'm here instead. It's me, Charlie, the ultimate greasy gamer, the super supreme specimen of ultimate gaming barbarism. And think about this. A mere 50 years ago, the idea of a gamer didn't even exist. The closest thing you had to gamers were the people in your elementary school that didn't get cholera during the Oregon Trail game. And now look at how far we've come. Today we're looking at the shittiest games of 2019. Kicking us off with a semi-chub, we've got WWE 2K20 taking the 5th spot. Now, this isn't something I'd normally do. A sports game is one of the worst games. I fucking hate sports games. You already know that. I'm not out there fucking limp dick in hand playing FIFA constantly or any sports game really. But WWE 2K20 is a special exception. This game switched studios from previous WWE games, and it shows. It's bad. From top to bottom, the game almost doesn't work without bugs. You can't have a single match go down without some type of catastrophic and jarring glitch. The story mode is one of the most laughable things in all of campaign history. You play as like these two up-and-coming wrestlers that are both just really shit characters on this really bad adventure that's poorly animated. Half the female hair choices come out stiffer than a goddamn uncooked spaghetti noodle. When they're twirling their hair around, it looks like they're twirling around pure blocks of steel. There's no fluidity to it, so it's all real goofy looking, but in the story mode specifically, that really shines because you spend a lot more time looking at these characters and they're moving around a lot, and the story's really juvenile. Like, they get into a little wrestling match at school one time because they were looking at wrestling notes in their notebook and then someone poured ketchup on a girl. It's dumb. It's a dumb game. Its story mode's super fucking dumb. But the thing that makes it so significantly worse than the other entries is just how unfun it is to play, unresponsive, and just impossible to play without encountering bugs and game-altering glitches. It's a game that clearly was rushed. There's no actual effort behind it. Half of the things here seem to be like placeholders waiting for an actual fucking texture or model to go in with actual animation. It's rough. It's super rough, and it definitely shouldn't have shipped. It should have waited, been cooking in the oven for at least another 5 or 6 months. Number 4, Left Alive, aka Almost Metal Gear Solid, aka please compare us to Metal Gear Solid so we can sell a few copies. Even their box art tries extremely hard to look like Metal Gear Solid, but it's not even close. It fucking sucks. This game tries to do so many things and it's bad at all of them. Its stealth is insulting, boring, poorly implemented, and doesn't really work very well, especially when it's complemented by the weirdest AI of 2019. Sometimes the AI troops are totally fucking asleep. You could stand in front of them, jerk off, smoke a cigarette, hit a fucking gravity bong, and they will not alert. But then 30 seconds later, they can see the goddamn future. And they will come sprinting around across the entire zone because they smelt your fart when you entered, and they will put you down, and you will not expect it. The AI is all over the place. It also has these awful mech sections where it's just you stand around and spray in like a little area, you just fucking fire hose them with bullets. It's not fun. The story is garbage and the voice acting is laughable. The voice acting sounds like everyone tried to beat Tommy Wiseau if Tommy Wiseau was overdosing on Xanax. The voice acting is just so uninspired, lazy, and bad. I don't even know how you find voice acting this bad in this day and age when everyone wants to do things like this and people are good at it. It's hard. You have to go out of your way to find shitty voice acting like this. But yeah, they've done it. They managed to get this entire package of garbage. The whole thing is just bad. Start to finish. It doesn't even run well. Shit's choppy as shit half the time, and it's not like it's because it's graphically impressive, because it's not. Shit looks dated, like 2006 style visuals. It's bad. Bad game. I don't think many of you have even heard of Left Alive. It's one of those games that went really under the radar for obvious reasons. Even them trying to piggyback off of Metal Gear didn't work because no one gave a shit. So, yeah. It's bad, though. Moving on to number 3, we have Crackdown 3. A game with years and years of hype in the making. I still remember how excited I was for Crackdown 3. I loved the first two. The first one more than the second, but I still liked it. I was so excited for Crackdown 3, especially when they had that tech demo of shit falling down, blowing up, tits flying all over the place with this real-time, cloud-rendered, explosive destruction, real-time physics, titty physics. That wasn't in the preview with the titty physics, but you get the idea. They had this crazy physics going on, and I love Red Faction Guerrilla, which is still so innovative and holds up well, by the way. And I thought Crackdown 3 was going to be on par, if not better than that, with all these like really minute details they paid attention to when they were destroying buildings in their tech demo. I was hype as shit. I think most people were. And then a year goes by and nothing's really come from it. Another year goes by, still nothing's come from it. And then eventually people just thought it was a canceled project, just fucking canned it, flush it down the toilet. But then to everyone's surprise, it actually comes out and everyone wished it didn't. It would have been significantly better if it just remained a myth that never came to fruition, because what ended up being Crackdown 3 is the lamest, most boring, generic, well, I can't even say generic because it's so fucking bad it can't be generic, just uninspired garbage. The whole game looks and plays like a Unity tech demo from an indie studio on Steam when they're trying to squeeze some money out of early access, so they haphazardly throw something together. The game's bad. It is super bad, and it feels, looks, and plays unfinished and just not what you'd expect from something with that much hype, that much time in the oven, and in 2019. It's an unforgivably bad experience in game. There is so little to like about Crackdown 3. It's not good, which is why it's number 3. Number 2 goes to Contra Rogue Core. Contra is a franchise and a name that used to just elicit such a masculine response. You know, you say Contra and fucking hairs pop up on your chest. It was a really powerful franchise and really influential for its time. Nowadays, the only response it elicits is fucking projectile vomit or diarrhea. Contra Rogue Core is truly abhorrent. It's a twin-stick shooter, completely redoing the Contra formula, which isn't a sin in and of itself, but doing it as poorly as this game does absolutely is. It's not a fun twin-stick shooter, and it has this overheating thing where Contra was built on running and gunning, just constant fucking bullets, hail of bullets, eating lead and spitting tits. In Contra Rogue Core, you can't do that because everything overheats. So you have to constantly stop shooting and waiting, which is super anti-fun and really goes against like the core design element of Contra in and of itself. It is a bafflingly bad decision. The story is just so poorly written. The lines, the one-liners, the comedy, all of it is so poorly written and seems just so lazy. It really feels like the entire game is rushed to meet a deadline. And it shows that more in its like actual levels, because entire levels are just copy and pasted. You'll play one level and then, 1 hour later, you're playing that exact same level with no changes at all. The objectives are always repeated. It's just, there's no diversity in the game. It's the same game from the fucking tutorial till the end of the game. Nothing changes. Nothing is ever fun. It is so boring. It is so lazy, and it really feels super unfinished. Porn parodies are more respectable to the source material than Contra Rogue Core is to the Contra name. It's just fucking terrible, and I can't believe that it's a 2019 game because it's a console game, and it looks like a phone game you would have played 5 years ago. It's bad. It's really bad. What is the number one shittiest game of the year? We're at the number one spot, the cream of the crop, the champion. Who takes home the shittiest game of the year award from the Moisties? I'm sure 100 million gamers all at once knew the answer, and they all pumped their fists in the air and they said, Anthem, because Anthem is the shittiest game of 2019. And it is a pleasure to say that because the beta didn't work, and at the time, Jackson and I were joking around about how bad the beta was, so we made the Anthem is Awful series, and the fucking BioWare fanboys and Anthem enthusiasts, fucking brainwashed zombies, were all saying, it's just a beta, are you guys fucking dumb? The game's gonna be so much better than this beta, obviously. It's just a beta, you don't get it. And then the full game comes out and it's even worse than the beta, and the game dies within like 3 weeks. The developers abandon it within 2 months. You get fucking radio silence, no fixes, the game in a broken state, horrible looting system, horrible systems all across the board, shitty game from top to bottom, nothing is working the way it was supposed to, fans going up in flames. The subreddit, which was once a safe haven for fans, turns into this hate haven. Oh, it was nuts. There was like a fucking war, a video gamer war in the Anthem battlefield. And I have to be honest, it was a pleasure to see that. Because this blind fucking fanboyism, this hail corporate shit where you just digest product because you like product and you never want to hear criticism about product, I think is so detrimental to things getting better. The subreddit at the time of the beta and its early launch outright just deleted things that were negative about the game to foster this idea that the game was perfect, and that is the worst practice possible. You need criticism of something, even things you like. You don't need to just constantly say, product, want more product. I love BioWare, so I have to love everything BioWare. That's not good. That's not how you get better games. That's not how you improve the game you're playing. The game was in a broken state. The end game, not fun, even to a certain extent, non-fucking existent. They had these weird fucking... It's so much to go into, but these weird grinding mechanics that didn't pan out well. So when you did finally reach the end game, it didn't feel rewarding. The starter gun was scaled the same as the best gun in the game at one point. So like literally one of the first things you start with would be doing the same, if not more damage, as something you'd spend 100 hours getting. There was so much wrong with that game, and it stayed wrong for that game. And then they eventually totally outright abandoned it, silenced the community, shunned them. It's a relic of the past, existing only in wet nightmares of those that experienced it. Still, Reddit warriors on the Anthem subreddit trembling, remembering those days in the trenches, fighting the either positive or negative comments depending on whose side you were on. It was nuts. Anthem was a game that totally redefined what it meant to have a shitty launch. Anthem is like the WWE 2K20 of shooting games. It is a big, non-functional, shitty shooter, stinker, bad, just all of the adjectives you could use to describe something abhorrent. Anthem epitomized. It was insufferable. And, well, I can't say that it's overly surprising to most of you because I'm sure you saw Anthem coming. Never before have I seen a AAA game and a studio with as much street cred and as much renown as BioWare have a game this bad, be this poorly received, and then totally just wash their hands of it and delete it. That was crazy. That was a fucking power move and something I'd never seen before. So Anthem, absolutely shittiest game of 2019, earning that prestigious award from the Moisties. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and that's it. See ya.